Welcome, welcome. It is time for Higginsanity. I'm your host, Jason Higgins.
I'm your co-host Dan Slott, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of things today. We got animals on the mind.
That's right, animals, better than people.
They've been around longer than people, so we're just going to talk about some of our favorite animals when it comes to air, land, and sea, and why we like these animals, and what made us pick them.
Exactly. So, I think in what was your critique on what fell under the speculations of or what fell under the parameters of being a land animal, what fell under the parameters of being a sea animal to air.
Obviously, air is kind of self-explanatory, right? Like they spend the majority of time in the air. Um, Land and sea was a little different, but also I feel like it's up for just your interpretation of it. You know, if they can go both ways, then they can be either or. Um, See, for me, air and water were simple choices.
Mm-hmm.
They were super easy. The land, and it'll be interesting to see what you think as if this is a animal that's allowed to be considered a land animal or not.
Okay. Okay.
What about you? What were your criterias or
Well, obviously, in the air, this animal has to fly.
right?
Can't be chilling in the air. It's not, it has no Jedi powers. It can't just be floating up in the air, just like, you
You're
know.
gonna bring that up every podcast at this point, aren't you? You're gonna bring up some Star Wars reference just because you know I'm a Star Wars geek.
Exactly. Exactly. And then, well, on the land part, because I also had that kind of what because there's a few animals where I was like tiptoeing on the fence. Is it considered a land animal or is it considered more of a sea animal? Depending on what I looked at is depending on how much time does it spend more time in water or does it spend more time on land?
Okay.
Does it
See,
raise its family on
that's
land?
interesting because it's not the one I picked. See if you allow my pick, but like alligators and crocodiles, right?
Hmm?
So I went more on if they can be impressive, both in land and on or in the water or on land. So like crocodiles, like they can hunt water and they can hunt land, and they do kind of partial, like they'll watch and get like patterns. I actually watched a show once about crocodiles and about this group that was doing studies on like I don't know some river, about crocodiles, blah blah blah, and wildlife, and the crocodile actually for like 3 nights in a row would like float up and just watch them. And then on like the fourth or fifth night, he learned when they went to bed, like once the campfire went out. And on that night, once the campfire went out, he like charged from water to land and like attacked the camp. So it's like to me that can be either land or water.
Do you want to start off with land, air, or water first? What are you thinking?
I don't care. You pick. Go for it. I'll follow suit.
Hmm. Let's do land.
Okay.
So so my favorite land animal, I'll just start with that. So my favorite land animal is a zebra. I mean, everybody knows that
Okay.
my
All
favorite
right. Yeah.
animal
I mean,
is a zebra.
look at her logo.
Yeah, exactly. My first grade teacher, shout out to Mrs. Sullivan, she always called me the zebra boy. And so even as I was in high school, walking into the high school to go play my basketball games, she would always, say, "Hey, it's the zebra boy. Hey, how's my zebra boy doing?" Things like that. And so I was always a zebra fanatic. I loved going to the zoos, watching the zebras, and things like that. But if I would have to pick my number one animal, if like I could be like this animal, like in the wild, I would pick this animal.
Okay.
It would be a jaguar.
Okay.
Because they're like the ultimate apex predator. I did some research on
Yep.
some National Geographic type of way, and in a way they don't really have a predator after them. Like they're like the alpha predator out there. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, and one, they're cool as can be, and there's an
Mhm.
NFL team named after them. Like, it's like, come on, like I would be a jaguar because one, they're super fast, they're super strong, their bite is incredibly strong. So like,
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
So that's the thing. So, and this might be cheating, and I do have a backup if you nix my land animal because land was for me the hardest to pick. Because like my first initial instinct is the cheetah, very similar to the jaguar,
Mm?
right?
Yeah,
Fast, efficient, like you said, bite strength. They go for, like instinctually they go for the neck and suffocate the prey.
exactly.
Um, so for my number one overall, if we can go prehistoric, I'd go a raptor, a velociraptor,
Oh,
because
for sure,
they're just badasses.
for
But I figured
sure.
you would veto that as far as not in the realm of
I
people.
mean, they're still an animal. They were once
Yeah.
roaming the planet, so I don't have any. I mean, you could have picked a dodo bird for if because really, it wasn't a dodo bird. They can't fly, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
They
mean,
they were
I
like
watched the Ice Age. You know,
the only bird that couldn't fly or something. They're extinct now.
yeah, like
Um,
it's
but I feel like the Velociraptor is a little bit of a cheat code, because like they're bad. But I would say in my second would be a cheetah, just
mm,
because of their 0 to 60, the way they hunt, um, the way they. I mean the way they. I was actually watching a show last week about the cheetahs, and even as cubs, like only like 30% of their cubs survive just because of how harsh the environment they live in.
okay,
And so they only can find food or get food so often, whereas like an adult can go for, I think they said 2 weeks without a meal, whereas cubs can only go like 5 days. So
okay.
they're constantly just like searching,
Oh wow.
and even the fact that they're still around and alive, like, is just impressive to me. And they just look badass, like the eye markings and stuff like that. So
So is that like your
so it's
favorite animal?
nope,
Is your favorite
that
animal a land animal?
nope.
What?
Okay, so we're still gotta come
Yeah.
across that platform.
So,
We
but
just haven't.
like I said, like Velociraptor is my favorite, but like I feel like it's cheat code. But my next would be cheetahs. Like I've
Okay.
always just like watching all the nature shows growing up and stuff, and just watching them go from like 0 to 60 and just like sprinting across, a desert or safari, or chasing down an antelope or something like that.
It's interesting
Uh,
how we both picked a cat, but neither one
yeah,
was like a lion, like the
yeah.
most general
So
term.
because lions are cool and hyenas are actually badass too,
Mm-hmm.
but they're both like pack hunters, and
Mm-hmm.
they rely on others. Like a cheetah, for instance, they breed, they have their cubs, and then they're like, all right, it's on me to like make sure the next generation
Mm-hmm.
stays alive. And cheetahs are still a thing where like lions have prides, and hyenas have other, I don't know if they're called prides with hyenas or not, but they have like, their social system, and they hunt in packs, where it's kind of like cheetahs and even jaguars are like one cat show.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I liked your pick of the cheetah. I mean, I can agree. But I remember when I was growing up, I remember with the zebra, they're running zigzags with their hooves because
Yeah,
with a cheetah, they can't zigzag as well because of their, obviously they have paws.
yeah.
And so that's how
Well,
zebras will how that's what they have to do to try to escape them because
right,
obviously they're not as fast as
right.
a
Well,
cheetah.
that's the thing with cheetahs. They get to their top speed so fast, so they get so fast they can't turn as quick. So they rely on their 0 to 60, 0 to 70 to catch their prey, and they get tired quicker too, though. So like cheetahs, like I'm gonna keep going back to it just because I watched it literally 2 weeks ago. Like if they only have so much energy because their food is so scarce, so if they don't catch their prey that they need in a certain amount of time, they get super tired, and then it's like a 2-day recovery for them
Yeah.
to before they can hunt again because they expend so much energy.
And that's why I picked the jaguar because they're also really good in the water. And like, I mean, I watched a video of this jaguar pulling up like a python up out of the
Mm-hmm.
water and just tearing it limb from limb. And it's
Yeah.
just like things like that is just pretty crazy to think like
Yeah.
what,
And what's crazy too is like all the cats, like jaguars, cheetahs, panthers, leopards, the amount of strength they have, like, because even if they find a dead carcass, like in
Mhm.
the river, to your point, like the fact that they can just grab it by their jaws and then swim to shore and then drag it to the rest of their colony or
Yeah.
pride or
Yeah.
community, whatever, is crazy.
Exactly. I honestly might pop in Madagascar tonight. Who knows? Just to watch clips of like, or I
Hey,
just might
I
pull
mean,
up a YouTube clip,
sometimes,
King Julian
dude,
highlights. If
sometimes you go
there's
back in time and rewatch those childhood
eh,
favorites, and they still hit.
if there's not a YouTube clip of King Julian highlights, I'm gonna go watch Madagascar and make a YouTube highlight reel of King Julian.
We're hiding. Be quiet, everyone, including me. Shh! Who's making that noise?
There you go.
But I'm just saying. I mean, does Goofy count as an animal? I mean, Goofy's a dog.
Goofy?
Yeah, Goofy.
I mean,
Or is
technically, I
Pluto? But
guess.
you have to have. But if he's a
Well,
rock,
there's Pluto and Goofy. They're both.
exactly. So how do you That's what I'm saying. How do you look at Goofy? Because in a way you look at him as a human, but in a way he's a dog. Like just the way as Mickey Mouse is a mouse, Donald Duck is a duck.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this. A tree's a tree, a squirrel's a squirrel, and an acorn's an acorn.
Gosh.
There's your, you know, lessons for the day, kids.
I can't with you right now. I mean, I would say that if you look at them from the animated series aspect, you would have to consider them animals. But if you're looking at them from like the going to Disneyland or Disney World, they're portraying an animal.
Didn't think I
Is
would
how
throw
I
that
would
at you.
view that. That's how I would view it.
You didn't think I'd throw that at you, did you?
No, I didn't.
I was just
But
wondering.
that's how I would view it.
Just wondering.
So what's your
So
air animal?
my what?
Your air.
Oh, the harpy eagle, because it is a neotropical eagle that is like the most dominant air animal there is. The thing can like demolish. Just look up YouTube videos of this eagle demolishing everything.
Yeah.
Like if you're walking down the street and this thing's flying above you, like you better get your head out of your ass and get like moving, because like it like you gotta go, because this thing is, and it's huge. Like this thing is, like I'm telling you, it's not like a hawk. It's not like the bald eagle. It's like I would say it's like a hawk and a bald eagle and a falcon all combined in one. So it's like a hybrid bird, if I could explain that in a way.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, I see it.
It looks pretty
See,
sick too.
yeah, they've got a nice head.
Yeah.
They've got a nice head. So I'm going to challenge you with the bald eagle, and it's not because it's like the United
Patriotic?
States and America and blah 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 and all that. It's been my favorite animal since I can remember. I remember being in like kindergarten, having a bald eagle pillow growing up. They're still badass. I mean, they can, and I also like the growth from when they're small. They don't have the white head. They don't have that. You can't tell it's a bald eagle unless you know what you're talking about until they get into their teenages, and then they start developing the white head and all that. I've
Okay.
also fed a bald eagle in the wild in Minnesota. We were fishing and we were on a boat, and I had caught a bluegill, and
Oh, cool.
like the hook gets
Yeah.
down too far, so like it's dead.
Hmm?
And they had a bald eagle nest on the lake, so I literally held it out like this with the fish in my hand, and the bald eagle swooped down and grabbed it right out of my hand, which was terrifying and awesome at the same time. 'Cause you're like, I
I
really
bet.
hope he doesn't
Did
like
you-
take
did
my
you-
fingers off.
Did you shark?
Maybe I
You fart crap a little.
don't.
Dumb and Dumber reference for all you.
Yeah.
Would it be 80s and 90s? I would go with
Yeah,
80s
yeah.
and 90s. Yeah.
But and they're just impressive, like the way they build their nests, and like they fly from 20 to 40 miles an hour, and they can dive upwards to 100 miles an hour. Like when they're going for a dive, like getting a fish out of a lake or something,
Hmm?
they're going 75 to 100 miles an hour on a straight dive.
Okay. So let me get this straight. You have a tattoo of a Green Bay Packers, but you don't have a tattoo of a
Mhm.
bald eagle?
That's funny you bring that up because I've discussed what my next tattoo is, and I want to start a sleeve.
Okay.
And I thought, I tell me what you think of this. I thought of getting like a bald eagle head and the wings going down like both sides of my arm, so it'd be like the head and the body, and then the wings going down both sides of my arm.
That'd be pretty sick. You know what's another cool idea? Having Darth Vader with the bald eagle on his shoulder.
Do you just want me to get a bald eagle with a Darth Vader helmet
Oh
on it?
my God, you was taking the words out of my mouth. That would be sick.
You're just getting.
Wait,
You're
wait,
just.
have like the eagle with the Darth Vader helmet holding the lightsaber, and you just see the Death Star like in the behind, like just
Like the
distance.
Death Star would be in the claws
Yeah.
of the
Oh
bald
yeah.
eagle.
Oh yeah. Like this is my kingdom. Oh, see? Oh my gosh. Put it on your back. Have your whole back be that. That'd be sick.
Oh my god.
I'll help pay for it.
Oh gosh. That would be kind of cool now that you say that, like a bald eagle with I wouldn't do the Darth Vader helmet, but like the Death Star in the claws.
See, I only give great ideas out here. Watch, I'm gonna get a text from Sarah at some point when after this airs, like, don't talk to him ever again. This is canceled. But when I
I'm
was
looking
looking at
now to see the harpy eagle and the bald eagle specs against each other.
So I was looking at different air animals, and like the crow, a fun fact about a crow, it remembers images of people. Like they're so intelligent that they can
Yeah.
remember an image of a person forever.
That's crazy.
So if you piss a crow off, like you better park your car inside your garage for like ever, because it's gonna be crapping on your car for days.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's kind of funny that I was talking about like that with the crocodiles, how he studied the campsite and he memorized their routine of, okay, so when he knew when they put the fire out that they went to bed, so he knew like that was time to attack, basically. So the harpy eagle is actually a little bigger than the bald eagle, it looks like.
I'm telling you, this was like the #1 rated like.
I'm not talking shit. Their beaks are badass. I'm not talking shit about them. It's just like I'm not gonna like
Yeah, if this thing's coming
bald
at
eagles
me,
are my jams.
like I'm telling you, if I was rolling back in the day, if I was Spartacus, I would have that like rolling on my shoulder, going into battle.
Trying to see the harpy eagle wingspan.
Now you're interested. See, this is the great thing about this podcast is we may name some animals that you may be like, oh my god, I forget what that is, or oh
so
my
it
god, what's
looks
that look like?
so it looks like the harpy eagle is a little heavier than the bald eagle, but the bald eagle wingspan can get a little wider than him.
Okay. So it's interesting. We both picked eagles, and then we've both
Yeah.
picked cats.
And again, like I always like to say, is we don't talk about like we do our studying or prep work separate. Like we try not to talk about what the other person's gonna say beforehand, other than just general topic. So it is interesting. So I'm anxious to see the water.
Yeah, it's great minds think alike. You know how that works.
you go.
You know that's how it goes.
So I'll go first here. So my water favorite is orcas.
Oh, what an orca, huh? Okay.
Yeah, they are straight up savages. They are evil. They hunt in packs, and like they will like hunt down a harp seal and then just toy with it. They'll like trap it and just torture it. It's almost like a cat or like two cats hunting a rabbit,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll just do it. And I've actually seen clips where they'll catch it and they will literally like play catch with their prey, and they'll like throw a harp seal like 20 feet to the other orca, and they'll catch it and they'll throw it back to them. They're just straight up savage hunters, and um they hunt anything. Like great white sharks, they don't care, they'll hunt it. They'll and the way they hunt is just sweet. They'll like when they see their prey, they'll go like there'll be 5 of them and one will lead it and push it this direction, and then they'll stage their swimming so that they trap it against the shore.
Okay.
And they'll actually beach themselves to get the prey, and then hop back into the ocean. And they figure out how to do that.
Wow.
So they're just straight up savage hunters, and they can swim like up to like almost 35 miles an hour.
Wow.
So they're just like they're just and yeah.
Okay. I like that pick.
And they're huge. They can get up to like 12,000 pounds.
Okay. I like that. That's pretty good. Good job, Dan. Everybody give him a hand clap. Hand clap. Hand clap.
Pat on the back. Pat on the back.
Sportsmanship triumphs. So I will go with my sea animal, and this is the one where I was thinking people might say, "Oh, it's more of a land animal than sea animal." It can go vice versa, but I'm going with the hippopotamus. The hippo, because the hippo is also seen as not having any type of not being prey to anyone. Like
talk about savages.
Yeah, have you seen those like TikTok videos or those YouTube clips where like people are on those tour boats or the swamp boats or whatever, and like the hippo's chasing them, and the guy's just like, oh, but in all reality, if that hippo caught that boat, everybody would have died.
Oh yeah,
that's not negative, but I'm just saying, the teeth of a hippo, like they're huge, oh my gosh! Like if you just watch, I just watched the videos of them, like the people just putting like watermelon, like full size watermelons.
Yeah, and like when they mate, they go fucking like they're in it for the kill.
Yeah, they're crazy big. And what's cool is how Cincinnati Bengals are obviously my favorite NFL team. The Cincinnati Zoo has a great selection of hippos, and there was a baby hippo not too long ago, and it's cool because I see videos all the time on my Twitter feed of the hippo growing up and things of that nature and whatnot. Because I'm a Cincinnati fan. It's the San Diego of the Midwest.
And you were talking about when you picked the leopard.
I picked the jaguar. What are you talking about?
Or the jaguar. I'm sorry, jaguar. Like orcas have no natural predator because they hunt in pods, and like they go after like great white sharks and things like that.
I also picked a hippo just because of the song "I Like 'Em Big, I Like 'Em Chunky."
Also, one really badass fact of an orca: they can sleep with one eye open if they want to. Like literally, they can sleep with one eye open.
That's what Lil Wayne says as well. He sleeps with one eye open. Do you know that? With the AK next to his bed.
They're so fascinating.
Lil Wayne?
No, orcas.
Oh,
but okay. Lil Wayne is too.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. See, that's gonna be on our music podcast. So when we talk about music, you best be Lil Wayne's gonna be on.
That's coming up. That's coming up.
Exactly. That's exciting.
They can also control they can control the flow of their blood through their organs within their own body.
What the heck? That's some.
So like if once they go deeper into the ocean, they can control their blood flow so it can go to where they need oxygen more than other parts of their body as they go deeper in.
That's pretty cool. Say you're on this like extravagant trip, you're on vacation and out in like the seas and stuff, and you're on this boat and you happen to like lean over the edge and you fall in the water, okay?
Yep.
And you look
Okay.
down, and you see either you swim to your right, and there's about 5 hammerhead sharks, or you swim to your left, and you see 5 killer whales.
I'd
Where do you swim
towards
to?
the hammerhead sharks.
You swim towards the hammerhead sharks. Why is
Yeah.
that?
Because if there's that many orcas,
Okay.
they're probably hunting.
Ooh.
If it was one orca versus
orca.
5 hammerheads, I'd swim towards the one orca. But orcas spend almost 60% of their time hunting. So if there's 5 of them together, chances are they're looking for food.
And you know why I said killer whales? Back in
Why?
high school, one of the football coaches, and it was a saying, and we had a T-shirt. He would say, "We ain't no peacocks, we're killer whales," because a peacock is like all for show, you know, and a killer whale is action, you know.
You
Peacock
cut out there. A peacock what?
is like full of the flail, like all
Yeah,
for the
they're all
show.
flare, no
Yeah, and the
actual-
killer
yeah,
whale is
yeah.
all, you know. But I like
Yep.
peacocks. Peacocks are freaking cool. I always like to walk around the zoo, and I just walk to my left, and there's like, holy crap!
Because
there's
they
just
were
a
never
random-
in a cage anywhere.
Yeah.
They'd just wander around, and then like they'd see you and be like, "Check out my fucking tail,"
Yeah, that's pretty
and then
cool.
they'd keep walking.
Like that. Like honestly, I'm not gonna lie. If I was a peacock, I'd be showing my stuff off all the time, just
Yeah.
because like I
So,
got that.
speaking of zoos, did you always, at least the local zoo we had, there was always the like longhorn cows
Mhm.
right next to the lion's cage.
Okay.
Did you not think that was like straight up torture to the lion?
See,
Like they basically forced them to look at what they would normally eat, but they couldn't get to it.
I feel like I love going to zoos, but Theo Vaughn, if you watch him, he makes a good point that the animals need to step up their game, because we're going and watching these lion just laying around, just chilling, whatever. Theo Vaughn's like, he made this comment. He goes, "Why are penguins not miming?" He goes, "They look like they should be miming. Like, get a job." Like, but you know what I'm thinking? I'm not thinking of miming. I'm thinking of happy feet. I'm thinking of like, why aren't they dancing? Like, why
They
aren't
should
they
be dancing,
dancing? Like,
not
I'm thinking
miming.
of, yeah, like, like you like, it is what it is. But I always like going to the zoo. It was
I
always
like going to zoos. I just wish they were more open. Like they had more room to be themselves. Like I know a lot of zoos
Exactly.
are for, rehabilitation and stuff like that. But
Oh, I got to
I
feed a
feel like
zebra.
they're always a little more lazy in the zoo than what they should be.
Yeah. I went on this
Like I would love bucket list is go on a safari, like in the true wildlife and see them in their habitat and stuff like that.
See, I went on this tour where we went on this bus, and they had like this like safari farm, and this was like, I think it was in Virginia, and I got to feed a bunch of different animals, but I got to feed a zebra, and so I was extremely excited because I got to feed a zebra, and I basically fed the zebra the whole entire feed that I had, like,
Yeah.
and there was like 50 other animals waiting, and the zebra was like one of the first stops. I like gave my whole feed, so I had like nothing else to feed the rest of the animals, because I was like, here, buddy, take as much as you want. You look hungry.
All the other animals are like, fucking zebra.
Yeah, and like
He always gets all the stuff.
the tour guide was like, "Geez, like, we got other stops on this thing. Like, I think that zebra is like would like hang out with you the rest of the day."
I was gonna say, does the zebra just follow you?
He's like, "I love this guy." He's like, "Man, I wish this guy come around more often."
All right, so we didn't talk about this at all, but what's like your least favorite animal outside of like bugs and like that stuff? You know what I mean?
See, growing up as a kid, I was afraid of sharks. I did not like sharks. Get this, when I went to Universal Studios as a kid, like you know how they have that Jaws ride with like Jaws falling around, and you're on the boat.
when Jaws pops out of the water.
My dad is like putting me over the railing saying shark bait, shark bait, shark bait, and I'm scared to death because I'm like thinking this shark is actually
totally
real.
See that.
Like I think the shark is real because I'm a kid. We're in Florida. Like I'm like, oh my god, this shark is real. So I'm like, oh my god. My mom is sitting next to him like, oh my god, Jeff, like don't do this. Like oh my god. And
I
like
can
you
totally
hear the
see your
torque,
dad doing that.
the guy running the drip. He goes, sir, please pull your kid back onto the boat. Do not put your kid over the railing, sir. Like, come on. Like, who does that on a family vacation? Like, even though it was a joke. But he knew because, and I don't know, like, when growing up as a kid, he would, like, you know, me and my sisters and brother, we'd go to Myrtle Beach and go on vacation like that. And we'd be out in the water. And next thing you know, this guy running, get out of the water, get out of the water, get out of the water. Scaring the crap out of everybody. If he did that now, people would be so offended. But this was back obviously like 15, 18 years ago.
They'd be like, child, all that bullshit.
Yeah, everybody'd be freaking out like, oh my God, cancel him. But this dude just didn't care, obviously. He wouldn't care now. He'd probably still do it. But yeah, I was, I'm not scared. I always say I'm not scared of sharks now, but growing up as a kid, like I watched the Jaws movies and everything as a kid. And like, I always had a fear, like I did not, like, I have a fear of drowning. Like I don't want to drown. Like, I feel like that's the worst. Like I don't want to drown. And so like, I feel like if I'm attacked by a shark and it pulls me under the water, I'm going to drown, but also
you're like, just eat me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's just like that would be horrible just to be pulled down completely like under the ocean and you're like suffocating as you're watching, like knowing that you're getting ready to be like murdered into a million pieces. Yeah, it's
right. I don't know if I had specific animal that I would be afraid of. It's animals that can like do something to you that like immobilize you or like make you so you can't do anything to like help yourself.
Okay.
So like if I'm swimming and I got like a stingray and I'm poisoned and I'm just like, oh well, I'm 100 feet under the water, so I'm dead. Or, you know, like a jellyfish, you know, if I'm not close to shore, nobody can do anything for me. Or you know, like if a venomous snake bit you and you couldn't get to, you know, it's not a specific animal, but it's a type of animal where it's basically like, well, you're in my territory, you're fucked.
Like a scorpion.
I can't think of an animal where I just like see it, I'm like, nope, I'm good, like get me away. But
I would be like that with an anaconda. If I'm like walking down the on vacation and some like 20-foot snake pulls up on me.
Well, obvious, yeah. I mean,
like,
yeah.
I'm gonna be a little.
I mean, obviously, there's animals where like if I'm walking down the road and like a bear jumped out and was like, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be scared.
Smokey the bear, man, what? He helps put out campfires. You don't want to be rude to him. Or like you know what? I grew up watching the Country Bears. I even had the Country Bears musical CD. Like, I wouldn't be mad if one of the Country Bears like came out and they said, "Hey, let's do a musical. Let's head up to singing. Let's go." You know, I watched Open Season. You know, that bear was pretty cool too. So just saying. But I know like scorpions
there's
and
one type of bear that I would not fuck with. And
polar
that's
bear.
A polar bear.
Polar
Those
bear.
things are vicious as a mother.
And if anybody says, "Oh my gosh, polar bears," okay, go to Antarctica or go where else they're at, and see if you come back. Because they're like the only bear that literally sees everything as their food.
Threat.
As a threat, as their food, as meat, as they're gonna kill you.
It's either a threat or they're hungry.
Yeah, they're not
so
drinking.
Either way, you're messed up. Like you're not like.
Yeah, they're not drinking Coca-Cola with you. They're eating the crap out of you, man. Like you're dead. Like there's no way about it.
Yeah.
But like scorpions, snakes,
that's
I'm
the thing.
Really
like
too fond of.
That's what I mean. Like animals that can sneak up on you and then like a scorpion again. If you get stung by it or stabbed by it or whatever they want to call it, and you're not like you're done.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm talking about. Like the animals that I'm like, I don't want to be around because I like to be alive. Yeah.
Growing up, I watched watching holes, the yellow spotted lizards. Like
Mm-hmm.
those things are pretty like. That was like the one thing. Like I always like looked around. I was like, wonder if there's yellow spotted lizards. Like wonder if they're in Indiana. Oh my gosh. But no, they're not.
I had I was in probably 5th, 6th grade. And do you know what a banana spider looks like?
I think so.
Like they're yellow and black and they have the super long legs.
Mhm.
So they're like this, the body's only like, this big,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
with the legs they're like this long. And I was at I think his aunt's house, and they had a huge one like right in the front door.
Okay.
And I was scared, but like everybody was like didn't want to get, so they're like, we have a coffee can. So I legit like 5th, 6th grade, like with a coffee can going up on the eve of their house, like trapping it. And then they had like woods in the back, but like that thing was nasty looking. I don't think they're poisonous, but it was easily like 10 inches long, legs and all. Yeah, obviously
Okay.
not the body, but
No.
and that was like I'm like going up there with the coffee can, like my hands are shaking and stuff.
No, I got you. I got you. I don't know what your hatred was towards sloths. Those are pretty freaking cool. Like I would love
They
to
just
just go
are-
chill.
They
Like
just seem boring.
no, I feel like you could cruise. Like you could like just
I feel
chill.
like a sloth is when you like pick up a girl for a first date and then you take her out to dinner and then you watch a movie and she just falls asleep and then you don't talk about anything.
No, man, a sloth is like Matthew McConaughey driving the Camaro with the top down, with the hair flowing in the wind. Matthew McConaughey, hair flowing in the wind, sloth right, going, oh yeah, that's what I think of when a sloth's just chilling. Mm, mm,
That's
mm, mm,
okay. So bringing that up,
ah.
if you had to take an animal out on a date, what animal would you take out on a date?
0. 0.
You're not getting the game. Come on.
0.
Like the most fun you would have with a animal.
0. I don't know what kind of question what kind of question is that, Dan?
No, I'm saying if you wanted to have
I've
fun with an animal, what animal would you pick? It's like if you go on a date, you want to have fun on your date, right?
You can answer this question because I'm so confused on this question criteria. You answer this question.
Oh my gosh.
If I was an
I'm just
animal,
saying, like-
I would be a jaguar.
Like
is what
the
I'm
number
saying.
one answer to me, like, so if we're playing Family Feud, right?
Okay.
You have one animal to pick that you're gonna have the most fun with. Probably the number one answer would be dolphin, right? Because everybody thinks of, all that you swim with dolphins and stuff. You get where I'm going now?
Mm,
Oh my gosh.
be a thinker.
Be a thinker. Oh, all right, Skylar, you might have to cut that since Jason couldn't comprehend my question.
And that part out too. We're cutting that part out
I'm
too.
not saying you're gonna have sex with him at the end of the day. I'm just saying.
I didn't know what the hell you were meaning. That's why I was like super confused. I'm like, what kind of question are you asking, Dan? Weirdo. Just kidding. All this is cut out, Skylar, from like.
No, it's not. It's staying in at
No,
this point.
no. This cut out. So from like the part from Dan asking this question to 3, 2, 1, go.
Keep it in.
No. Stop. 3, 2, 1, go.
Keep it in.
No, we're not. I'm gonna stop the recording now, and then we're gonna start all the way over.
What's the point of a podcast if you can't have some fun?
Starting 3, 2, 1. Because we're already at 43 minutes, anyways, and that's only about a 2-minute cutoff. So we're at 41 minutes.
So that's perfect. We can just keep it in.
No, we're not keeping it in.
Oh, okay. No, here's what we can do, and keep this part in. Just keep this from where I said that to now as a blooper reel, and it can be a separate segment.
So 3,
Jason's so
2.
mad at me right now. We're live, aren't we? So people
No.
could be watching it anyways.
No, we're not live.
Oh, you took us off live?
We've never been on live.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Are you gonna count down from 3 to 1 again?
yes. If you do it again, I'm just gonna stop the recording and this is gonna end like that. We don't get any end credits. Anyways. So, if we're talking about animals, what was your favorite dinosaur for back in the day besides being a velociraptor? I watched Land Before Time, so Littlefoot was always my favorite dinosaur. So, like, I can't remember what those things are called. Is it like a Stegosaurus or like Brachiosaurus or something like that?
The Bronchiosaurus is the big
Bronchiosaurus.
one with the long ass neck.
Yep.
Stegosaurus has the spikes on the back, like they're like this, and they go all the way down their spine.
Okay. I always liked I thought they were just so cool, like so majestic, like they're like they're so this big, like people just looked up to them, and like Littlefoot was always my favorite. Like I cried at Land Before Time, like that was so sad, like
yeah,
man.
I mean,
I'm gonna cry now.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'll stay strong for the cast.
What is that? I think it's so obviously, like I said previously, Velociraptor is my favorite, but I do have a special connection because there was a TV show. So when I was born, my brother was 5 years old, something like that. And he was watching a TV show where there was a mean uncle who was named Daniel. So obviously that was my name. So when I was born, he wasn't going to call me Daniel.
Okay.
And there was a book that he was reading where an Ankylosaurus, is that how you say it? They've got like the hard shell on the back and the spiked tail and the spines on their back. And there was a character in the book called Spike. So apparently, obviously I don't remember, but for like the first 6 months of my life, he just called me Spike because that was the character in the book. Okay. So, and they are kind of badass if you look them up. They've got like an armored back with a hard head and a spiked tail. So I'm like, all right, I could roll with that.
Okay.
I think if you remember I think that there are ones in Jurassic Park 2 where the Vince Vaughn character catches up with them and she's like in their nest and they start swinging with the tail.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that scene?
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the same type. I like those.
Okay.
And of course, I mean, you could always be like a pterodactyl and just be a flying dinosaur. That would be cool, but
that would be pretty cool. So, Dan, what was that question you were asking earlier? I can't remember what it was. What was that question?
About what animal are you going on a date with?
Okay,
have the most fun?
Yeah, if I would have to go on a date or hang out with an animal for like a whole day.
I'm just saying, the whole point of the question was, if you could pick an animal that you would have the most fun with for a day, it would be what animal?
I would say maybe a giraffe.
A giraffe, okay.
Because one, I feel like I'm pretty good with animals and stuff, so I could find like this cool, like I would have to get like a super extra sized jersey, put the jersey on the giraffe, and throw some alley-oops to this giraffe.
My question was stupid, but you're putting a fucking jersey on a giraffe?
Yes. Anyways. Oh, wait, which is funny because I dated a girl back in the day, and I went to, was it Build-A-Bear? And, no, that was a dinosaur. Never mind. Anyways, long story. Anyways, so a giraffe... A giraffe. it can also help me get to places where I cannot reach,
just
like in the
know
house. Like if I need to
I
get some
get
spider
that.
webs or cobwebs out of the attic or anything, it can give me a boost up in there, and I can clean the sticks off my roof, things of that nature.
I didn't say which one you want to hire to clean your house. I said which you'd have most fun with.
That would be. I mean, throwing alley oops to the giraffe.
all right,
mean-
alley-oop. I give you that.
I would totally like. I mean, I wonder. I can't remember how fast the giraffes go, but it would look pretty freaking cool. Like if you saw me
Yeah.
riding through town on a giraffe, like pretty sick. And they're adorable. I fed giraffes before, like the cabbage lettuce or whatever, and
Yeah.
at the Busch Gardens in the Safari Zone. It's pretty cool. Their tongues are
Yeah.
long, and it licked my face. It was crazy. What? Ooh,
Nothing.
you didn't like my answer? I'm sorry.
No,
I
the
am
answer's
sorry.
good.
Giraffes are
They-
pretty
they-
freaking cool.
They are, and they're faster than most people think. So, like you said, riding through town on a giraffe.
Yeah. So ha. What was yours? Dolphins? Because of
No,
swimming with the
No.
dolphins.
no, that's what I'm saying. Most people would probably say that, but that would not be mine. I don't know what mine would be. I wish there was realistic animals that you could actually ride while they flew, because that would be my number one. Would be like if you could like get on the back of a bird or something and fly.
Articuno.
Like that would be yeah, yeah exactly. Like get some Pokemon up in here,
Pidgeotto.
or like the golden or like the golden eagles,
Zapdos.
Lord of the Rings or something. That would be my number one. But
Charizard.
yeah.
Charizard is always one of my favorite Pokemon,
Yeah.
but Ninetales has always been my favorite
But
Pokemon.
I mean, you gotta think like if you're just out to have fun for a day, some sort of like monkey or chimpanzee or orangutan, like you could just
And you
get
telling me
shit
you
with-
wouldn't have fun with a sloth? Tell me, you could dress up a sloth. You
would
could hang
throw
out with a
poop at
sloth.
We would throw our feces at a sloth if I was hanging out with a monkey.
That's disrespectful. Sloths are freaking awesome.
I'm not disrespecting the sloth. I'm just saying that's not like I'm surprised that you picked it.
Oh, sloths are cool, man. Like, just think of all the fun you could have with a sloth.
Yeah, you could like fall asleep or slowly walk to the bathroom or slowly fall asleep or
This guy.
slowly
This guy.
go to the bathroom.
This guy. So,
I think that's about the point where we should wrap this up.
yeah. So, thank you for watching our podcast today as we talked about different types of animals, some of our favorite animals, animals of different, whether it was sea, land, air. So, thank you guys for watching. Dan, you want to give off the
Yep,
end
as
credits?
Give us ideas, give us comments, feedbacks at our email address, which is the number one dansanity@gmail.com. So it's the number one DANSANITY@gmail.com. Also can be found on Twitter. So yeah, we're always looking for ideas, topics, feedback, all that stuff. So hit us up.
Yep. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Higginsanity live stream and podcast and live stream. And then you can also follow us on Facebook. So thank you guys for watching, and see us next week on another episode of Higginsanity.
As always, deuces.